Hi everybody, Rennie here. Thought I'd check into our lovely community and see what all of us are doing, great and small. So how are all of you? I wanted to kind of give you something maybe fresh and new to think about, or maybe all the things you guys have been talking about in the community fall under this category. You could look at it either way. And that is the topic of freedom. Freedom is something that we desire, we humans desire the most, and yet I think remains, even after our trials and our flub-ups and our maybe even small successes, it's the most elusive. We still want more of it. We can't seem to get enough of it, or we can't seem to get it at all. Many of us understand freedom from a social perspective, from a cultural perspective. And this is, we want freedom from things, or we want freedom to do things. So freedom from things. I want freedom from taxes. Please don't make me pay taxes. I want freedom from having to get to work at 9 a.m. in the morning. I want freedom from working. I want freedom from my job. I want freedom for at the age of 75, I have to take care of my parents and have them live with me. I want freedom from these things. Okay, we want lots of freedoms, lots of desires for freedom. Maybe we want freedom for things, or like, I want freedom to be me. I want freedom to express myself. I want freedom to be heard. I want freedom to speak my mind. And if you look at all those freedoms from desires and all those freedoms to expressions of self, they all are about ourselves. And if you juxtapose those with the freedoms that the shamans of ancient Mexico are talking about, they're talking about a different kind of freedom. Freedom to receive energy, freedom to perceive energy that flows in the universe, freedom to perceive everything that is humanly possible. Oh, totally abstract freedom. And the point is to get from here, all about me and my desires to be free, and freedom as perceived and lived and experienced as the shamans of ancient Mexico, you're going to have to give up something. And in this example, clearly, you're going to have to give up yourself. Yeah. So I get a lot of people coming up to me in events and everything, and they go, Rennie, just do something to me so that, I can be in this state of heightened awareness and be where the shamans of ancient Mexico are all the time. And I have to quite literally tell them then, as I will tell all of you, if any of you have the similar thoughts, that that's not my job. It wasn't the job of Carlos Castaneda to me, and it wasn't the job of Don Juan de Carlos. It's just not our job. As Carlos said it very, very eloquently, he says, my job is to get you to the threshold of infinity. My job is to point you in that direction of infinity. My job is to tell you that infinity is out there and infinity is waiting for you. But it's not my job to carry you across the threshold. That is something you have to do yourself. And so what Carlos said that he did, and he did do it, he goes, I give you the tools to cross that threshold, but you got to do the work. And as we said before, that work is disintegrating the self that we know, opening ourselves up into the self that is unknown to us. Interesting. Then what's interesting is I get, a lot of other kind of people come up to me at events. They go, Rennie, this event, it's not like the books of Carlos Castaneda. And I go, that's correct. I go, did you want to hunt rabbits? Did you want to sew the eyelids of lizards together? Or did we want to wrestle allies in the ravine? Did you want to walk in the desert for 4 days with hardly any food and water till you finally have an hallucination of the other side? Is that what you were expecting? And, I love these things because these people are coming to these events with a certain expectation. And I do have to mention to these people that the books were Carlos Castaneda's recapitulation of his time with Don Juan. They were not meant as teaching tools of any kind, but yet that's how many of us look at them. And also this was Carlos's training. He wrote about a first-hand account of his training to become a Nawal, which if I looked in the future of our lineage, I don't think there's a new Nawal coming. And then the other point is that before Don Juan left Carlos, at the end of Don Juan's life, he pulled Carlos aside and he goes, you do realize that all those things I had you do at the beginning, those are just rituals. Those were the assumptions. You assumed that I was supposed to be, as a shaman, carrying the title of shaman, I was supposed to be a poor, lowly beggar Mexican that wore worn out huaraches, that had a straw hat with holes all in it, that wore clothes, baggy clothes, and lived in a hut. You expected me to be those things. You assumed I would be those things. Those are the only way, that's the only way you would recognize me. So in order to get your attention, I became those things. I did those things. He goes, but those things are just rituals. He goes, what's underneath those rituals is the foundation of all of his work. And it is, what's underneath those rituals is what Carlos Castaneda taught us and what you will find at our events. You will see the magical passes for moving your assemblage point, for moving your perception from ordinary to unordinary, back to unordinary, over and again. You will learn and you will do the recapitulation, disintegrating the self, disintegrating the self, disintegrating the self. And you will be doing some things of dreaming and sleeping, dreaming awake. These are the foundational things beneath all the rituals. Beneath all the rituals, these are the foundations of Carlos Castaneda's work and what you'll find at our events. Now, as I was scanning through all of your wonderful things that you wrote, I saw certain types of things, I guess you might say. I saw one type of individual that really took my breath away because their questions are so sincere. They don't come from a place of assuming. They don't come from a place of knowing it all. They just really want to know. They really want to know, and they haven't failed in this world. They're successes in this world, and they want to know about these other worlds and be successful and have success in those world tools. And these people are so genuine and earnest. You know, they take my breath away. And then we have the wonderful people. That's part of our group and part of our community. And, and our communities have to be filled with all different kinds, or it wouldn't be community. You know what I mean? The kind that, they might not have been to a Carlos Castaneda event of any nature, but they sure do talk about it. They got a lot to say. And sometimes, even if you watch their syntax, they set themselves up as masters of something. Like, don't you realize that Carlos Castaneda meant this? And I go, oh, truly, is that what Carlos Castaneda meant? How great is that? But you've got this kind too, and it's fun just to read all these different things and kind of sift through them. And then you got the kind, oh, I love this kind. Oh, I've been doing tensegrity. Dear community, I've been doing tensegrity for 20 years. I go, great. How come I haven't seen you at an event? Oh, I've been doing tensegrity on my own. And I go, okay, so you've been using this idea of yourself, this identity of yourself, which you did not create, which was created for you by your parents, by the people that raised you, and it was all agglutinated by the age of 7. So you are using this identity to read the books and to do the magical passes and to understand tensegrity. I go, okay, I'm hoping that's working for you. You know what I mean? So we've got lots and lots and lots of different varieties of speakers and voices all in our community. And they all have, and I think truly, they are all looking for it. All of you, myself included, I'm looking for a different kind of freedom. And our paths there will be completely different on how we get there. But it's fun to see all of our expressions. And so, for those of you who are ready to jump, and expand beyond this little self that we call ourselves, this me that likes the color blue or the color black, this me that likes taking walks on Sunday, this me just like my father. I like the color black just like my mother. I like Italian food just like my grandparents. I like, go down the list. I am them. But for those of you who are willing to jump out of this self as you know it and into another self, which you don't know and you will never know until you become it, and then you will continue to become it and become it and become it and become it. These are the things you will be learning at our upcoming event in Croatia in November. Freedom from the self. Freedom from the self is equatable to perceiving energy freely. One has to become free from themselves. So, something to think about. And you guys, have a good time in our community. I'll see you again there.